Hello and welcome to this episode of the Flying University podcast, where we celebrate the knowledge of all and bring education to everyone. Today, we're diving deep into leadership in higher education,
Okay.
but not the kind you might immediately think of. We're going beyond those titles and official positions.
Right.
So picture this. A bold statement pops up on your feed. Leaders in higher education do not need titles to be leaders. This comes from Jared Kneze, CEO of academicjobs.com.
Okay.
It really got me thinking. So what's your initial reaction to this?
You know, what I think is fascinating about this statement is it really challenges our assumptions about leadership. We tend to equate leadership with those at the top of the organizational chart.
Yeah.
Deans, provosts, department chairs, those with the big offices and fancy titles.
Right.
But Kneze's statement suggests that leadership is less about where you sit
Yeah.
and more about what you do.
It's like saying anyone can step up and lead, even without that official stamp of approval. So instead of fixating on who has the title, how do we even begin to recognize these informal leaders? What signs should we be looking for?
You think about it this way. You're in a meeting.
Okay.
And someone who isn't the designated leader brings a fresh perspective that shifts the entire conversation.
Oh, yeah?
Or maybe it's the faculty member who consistently goes above and beyond to mentor their junior colleagues, helping them navigate the often murky waters of academia.
Those are some subtle but powerful forms of leadership, right?
Absolutely.
And those examples aren't even limited to faculty. I mean, I've seen staff members who completely transform student services
Yeah.
or champion these initiatives that make the campus a more inclusive place. Their actions speak volumes,
Yeah.
regardless of their position on the org chart.
You got it.
So it's about recognizing those individuals who inspire, motivate, drive that positive change within their sphere of influence.
Right.
And sometimes that influence comes from expertise,
Yeah.
sometimes from passion, but it's always about action, not position.
It is.
This makes me wonder, what's the impact of nurturing this informal leadership? Is it just feel-good stuff? Or does it really move the needle for institutions?
It's definitely more than just a feel-good factor. Think of it this way. Institutions are these complex ecosystems.
Okay.
And when you have individuals at all levels stepping up and leading, it creates a more dynamic and engaged community. People feel empowered to contribute their unique talents, and that can lead to some really amazing solutions
Wow.
and innovations that might not have emerged through traditional channels.
So it's like tapping into this hidden reservoir of leadership potential that already exists within the institution.
Right.
But let's get real for a sec. Are there potential downsides to blurring the lines between formal and informal leadership? Like, doesn't it create confusion about who's actually in charge?
Yeah. That's a really valid concern. I think one of the biggest challenges is the potential for ambiguity.
Right.
Without those clear boundaries, things can get a bit messy. Imagine a scenario where a faculty-led initiative clashes with the department chair's priorities.
Yeah.
Who gets the final say?
Right.
Or what happens when well-intentioned individuals with different visions end up working at class purposes? These are real issues that institutions need to think about and address.
So it seems like clear communication and transparency are crucial here.
Absolutely.
How do we create a system where both formal and informal leadership can coexist and thrive without stepping on each other's toes?
Right. Institutions can foster this culture that values both by creating clear channels for communication and decision-making.
Okay.
This could involve establishing clear guidelines for collaborative projects, providing platforms for open dialogue, and even offering training on conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Transparency is key.
This has been super insightful, but I want to bring it back to our listener who might be thinking, okay, this is all interesting, but what does it actually mean for me?
Right.
What steps can someone take to cultivate their own leadership qualities, even if they aren't in a formal leadership role?
Well, I would say start by identifying your strengths and your passions.
Okay.
What are you naturally good at? What issues within your institution do you care deeply about? Once you have that clarity, look for opportunities to use those strengths to make a difference.
I like that.
Maybe it's mentoring a new colleague, volunteering for a committee that aligns with your interests, or simply speaking up during meetings to share your ideas.
Yeah.
Leadership isn't about waiting for permission. It's about taking initiative.
It's like that saying, lead from where you are.
Exactly.
And for those of you looking for more traditional leadership roles, or just exploring new opportunities in higher education, I highly recommend checking out academicjobs.com. They have a wide range of listings in various fields, so you can find something that truly aligns with your passions and skills.
great resource.
And as a final thought,
I encourage you to pay attention to the dynamics within your own institution.
Yeah.
Who are the people who consistently demonstrate leadership qualities? Regardless of their titles, what can you learn from their approach? Leadership is all around us. It's up to us to recognize it and embrace our own potential to lead, title or no title.
that's a great point to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into leadership in higher education. Remember, you don't need a fancy title to make a difference. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep leading your